the numbers don't lie, right? There's such a thing as precision marketing. And precision marketing is sending the right thing to the right people at the right time. And you can only know the right people, the right time, the right message if you know who they are.
You are listening to This is Product Marketing, brought to you by Product Marketing Hive, the product marketing community that gives back. I'm your host, Louise. In this episode, Favour Aroghene Okoro, Product Growth Marketing Manager at Kuda, shares her thoughts on data-driven product marketing. Let's dive into it right now. Hi, Favour. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Louise. Thanks for having me. It's fun to be here.
Great. So, congratulations on your new role at Kuda.
Yeah, thank you.
And then maybe we can get started with a short introduction of yours and about your career background as well as what's your current role. What do you do?
Okay, perfect. So first, I'm Favour Aroghene Okoro. I'm a marketing professional in Nigeria. Over most of my career, I've had the opportunity to work with FMCG companies, financial companies. Now in tech, I was in health tech and now in fintech with Kuda. Presently, I'm a product marketing manager and it is sort of intertwined with growth. So I'm a product growth marketing manager. Kuda is a bank and as a bank, we have a lot of products that we want to launch out, but the entire goal is to really grow this bank from where we are now to where we really want to be in the future. So product marketing in Kuda is really just taking the products to market and just ensuring that it grows the entire Kuda ecosystem that we're trying to create.
Great. Very exciting. Looking forward to hearing more interesting stories about your new journey. Great.
Yeah, exactly.
You are based in Nigeria, so I'm sure a lot of people, as well as me, were very interested in knowing the tech scene in Nigeria. Can you share with us?
Interesting question, because the tech scene in Nigeria and Africa is really growing and is really growing at a fast pace. I think majority of the tech companies in Africa are Nigerians, right? So like you have a lot of startups in Nigeria. And then what we're also seeing is a lot of tech talent that are growing at a really fast pace, because of course, where there are jobs and the opportunities, people have to then scale up to sort of meet those opportunities. So it's really exciting times in Nigeria and Africa. We are seeing a lot of investment. I think over 8 billion investments so far have come into the African ecosystem. So it's really very interesting. Yeah, and then with the inflow of Microsoft and Google, the data center, amazing things are happening right now, not just in Nigeria, but really in Africa. And I think that there is more to come. We've seen a lot of fintech do stuff in the system. We're looking now to the ed tech, the education tech, then the health tech, and then even the mobility tech. Like a lot of products are coming up, right? And even the crypto space is really booming right now. So I think these are exciting times, both for startup founders, both for investors, and even for the tech talents that we have growing right now.
That's awesome. So what about the product marketing scenes in Nigeria?
So that's really another interesting scene, right? Because now we have so many products and people are beginning to see like the importance of product marketing. If you're a product marketer, you literally maybe get an average of 2 HRs, just trying to headhunt you into their company, right? So it's a really growing space. And another thing I've seen is most of this tech education hub. An example would be maybe Utiva or maybe Trevor. These are companies that provide tech education to talent, right? What they've started doing now is imbibe product marketing as a course, right? So product marketing in itself is very new, but it's really growing fast, right? And we're also seeing the development of micro communities, right? So now we know that, okay, there's such a thing as product marketing. There's a tech space growing. There's a need for these people in the market. And then we're just sort of creating a community amongst ourselves to learn, because it's really new. So we're really learning, trying to network amongst ourselves, and also trying to be ready for those opportunities that are really available right now.
Great, great. That's great. So this is very interesting to hear about.
Yeah.
You said that right now your current role is a mixture of product marketing and growth marketing. And how does your experience in product marketing and growth marketing help your current role?
So interesting, really. So your product marketing is really more of the taking the products to market, planning for the launch, ensuring that the product messaging is ready and in line with what the business wants to achieve, ensure that you're properly positioned for the customer, right? And then the growth arm is more of like the data-driven arm, right? So in the growth arm, you're thinking of the funnel. You want to acquire customers. How do you retain these customers, right? How do you turn them into advocates? And then really, how do you grow the business to where it wants to be, utilizing data? So I would say that because I've done product marketing and I have also done growth marketing, now being in a space where both of these skills are now relevant, right? So Kuda is one product, but in Kuda, we're launching a couple of new products, right? So the real goal is to ensure that these micro products that we're launching grows Kuda in itself, right? So beyond planning the launch, beyond positioning, beyond messaging, you want the numbers, right? You want to see how each of these products increases the usage of Kuda and also increases the revenue that we generate as a brand, right? So I think it's important that I have like data background, being able to understand exactly what the numbers mean and how to sort of use it to plan campaigns. And then also knowing how to position a brand is it's just really exciting because now like everything that I have done is now like coming into one space, right? So you know how to maybe collaborate across teams or do both roles. It just positions you for like advantage in the tech system.
Great, I see. So, is there anything you have learned as a growth marketer that would make you think differently about product marketing?
Yeah. So in growth, you're really more focused about growing the product. You're focused about driving revenue. You're focused on acquiring new customers, right? On the flip side, in product marketing, I mean, you're also focused on this, like it matters to you, but you're really more focused on launching the product, getting it to market, saying the right things, ensuring that the positioning is right. So it's possible to not pay attention to the numbers side if you're a product marketer, but having some sort of knowledge on data or having done growth marketing helps to inform the sort of messaging or positioning or even launches that you're doing as a product marketer, right? So you know that, okay, so I'm writing this copy or I'm having this sort of engagement with my customers because I want to achieve this maybe amount of revenue or I want to achieve this number of customers. Or maybe I want to retain my customers by this certain percentage. Or maybe I want to increase my daily active users by this number, right? So like you're coming from like the outcome perspective, very results oriented. And I think that helps in product marketing because as marketers, sometimes we get carried away by the creativity of what we're doing. Like, and there is tendency to go by all of these numbers that don't really mean anything. Maybe the views on the website or the likes on your page, or maybe the views on the video that you launched. But when you know that, beyond all of these vanity metrics, there is revenue that you really want to drive, right? So being very growth oriented helps you to sort of define exactly what you want to do as a product marketer. So I'd say, yeah, that the numbers has helped to also inform the sort of strategies that I do or implement as a product marketer.
Great. Yeah, this is actually closely related to our topic today, being a data-informed product marketer.
Yeah.
Maybe you talk a little bit about it, but I want to ask you, in your opinion, what does it mean to be a data-informed product marketing manager?
Yeah, interested. So being data informed is just really making decisions based on this data that you have, right? For example, so if you wanted to build a landing page and you have two options for call to action, maybe one of your options is sign up now, and the other option is create a free account, right? So if you're data driven, you're not just going to say, I think sign up now works best because exactly what we want them to do is sign up. Maybe it is a paid product and we don't want to sell the idea of free, right? But that's just a thought, right? It's not backed by numbers, it's not backed by results. Being data driven is saying, you know what, we have these two great ideas, let's A/B test it, right? So let's create an alternate page and then see which ones gets us the numbers that we want, right? The ultimate goal is for people to sign up. Let's see if we say sign up or if we say get that for free, which one gets us like the numbers that we want, right? So being data driven is making all of your important decisions based on historical data, right? And aside that is also being able to react in real time based on the data that you're getting. So if you're running a campaign and in 2 weeks, you're seeing that, okay, these are the sort of people that are reacting to my campaign. Maybe I'm running this campaign for women, and for some reason, I am getting more traction from men, and men are performing more of the action that I want to do. Then I should know that, okay, maybe this would also be beneficial to men and not just limit it to women and just leave the campaign running for as long as I want to. So understanding that data can help you improve your targeting, improve the results, right? There's such a thing as precision marketing. And precision marketing is sending the right thing to the right people at the right time. And you can only know the right people, the right time, the right message if you know who they are, right? And knowing who they are is understanding their previous performance or behavior or journey, right? And all of this you can do with data, right? So there's also the part of intuition and prior knowledge, right? Because numbers alone might take the empathy out of your marketing. But what it would do is ensure that you're spending less and gaining more because you're very precise in all of your messaging and targeting, using numbers to improve your marketing performance, literally.
I see. This is a great explanation. Can you tell us why is it important for one to become a data-informed product marketer?
Number one reason would be, first, it gets you a seat at the important table. Management or founders are more numbers driven, right? So they're not really looking at the creativity. They're not really looking at all the engagements that we got from these. What they're looking at is numbers. And that's because investors are also looking at numbers, right? The potential of a product to survive is going to be based on the traction that you've gotten now, right? So numbers are important. And these numbers are not vanity numbers. These numbers are number of customers that you've been able to acquire, number of transactions that you've been able to move, number of revenue that you've achieved from this, right? So as a marketer, the tendency to not be included in that table is high because most times marketing is seen as a cost-driven department. But when you're data-driven, you can communicate how each of these activities that you're involved in is increasing the numbers that are important to your company, right? So it's important for you to know how that campaign that you implemented on Twitter or on Facebook or out of home increase maybe the walk-in into your store or the calls that you got or the sign-ups or the app downloads, right? Because these numbers can then also inform the number of registered customers, the number of purchases, the number of transactions, the number of retained customers, right? So first, it's important for you to get a seat at that decision table. What we've seen is, the engineering and the product team define the product, and then when it's done, they hand it over to marketers to just go and sell. But if you have a seat at the table, you would be like a part of the product iteration process, the product development process, and then you also inform exactly what the product should be, because you're supposed to be the customer advocate. If there's no customer advocate on that table, then you might be having a not so good product to sell, right? So it's important for you to get a seat at the table. Data would get you there. Another importance of being a data-driven marketer is that it will save you cost, because if you're numbers driven, you understand what the numbers are saying. Let's say you're running a Facebook campaign, right? And then from the Facebook campaign, you can see that maybe you're doing an A/B test. You have two different designs for the same target audience, same content, and you're seeing that people are reacting better to one design as against the other, or maybe it's costing you less to generate almost the same result on one design than on the other. What you simply have to do is optimize for the best performing design, right? So at the end of the day, it will save you cost. And if you're saving cost for the company to achieve the same results that is expected, you also get to sit at the table, because two things companies want to do is they want to save costs and increase revenue, right? So being data-driven helps you to save that cost and also helps you to achieve more in the long run. So if you had like a budget of $1,000 to get maybe 2,000 people, and you're using that $1,000 to get 3,000 people, that's amazing, right? Yeah, being data-driven helps you save costs and even effort, right? So that's where precision marketing comes in. So it prevents marketing waste. So instead of saying the wrong message to the right people at the wrong time, knowledge of who they are, where they are, and what they want to be spoken to about just really helps you to prevent marketing waste. So you don't have your team working on projects that are not really generating the results that you want, right? So you're very, very precise, very direct, right, in your messaging, and just saves you time and effort as well.
Got it. That's clear. So previously you mentioned vanity numbers. So what are the different types of real numbers that product marketers should care about?
Interested. Depending on your product, right? Every business is in business to make profits, right? Maybe the most important number is revenue. So how are you generating revenue? How much of that revenue have you generated? And then the cost of acquiring customers or cost of generating that revenue, right? Because like I said, it's important for you to drive down costs while increasing revenue. So you want to know, it might be fancy to be acquiring a lot of customers, but if you're acquiring them at a cost that is not profitable for the company, it becomes a waste at the end of the day, right? So you want to know the cost of acquiring every customer that you get. So is it $2? Is it $4? Is it 1,000 naira? Is it 100 naira, right? So you want to be very sure that your cost of acquiring customers is in line with your marketing budget. Another thing you want to really measure is, for example, if you're marketing a SaaS product, you want to know your monthly active users, right? So it's not enough to say, oh yeah, we have 10 million customers. If only 1,000 of those million customers are really using your product, then you've really not won, right? Imagine if so let's say you're a product and you generate 10 naira from every customer that you have, right? And you have 1,000 customers, but only 100 customers are active, and you're generating 10 naira from 100 customers. If you could get those active customers to 200 and you're generating 10 naira from those 200 customers, you have increased your revenue, right? Without even trying to acquire new customers. So it's important that first, you know your active customers, you know the revenue you're generating per customer, so that you can try to increase the revenue you're generating from like the average customer, right? And then of course you probably also want to look at your feature usage, or maybe let's say the time to activation, right? So I'll give an example without giving real numbers, right? For Kuda, our first activation is fund the account, right? You cannot really use a product if you've not funded it. You need to have money in it to pay bills, to buy gift cards, to maybe, we have like a couple of bills you can pay online and pay with your card, right? But the first important thing to do is fund your account, right? As a product marketer, you want to ensure that the time to value on your product is not more than at most 48 hours, right? And that's because the longer it takes for people to gain value from your product, the higher the chances that they will churn, right? So you want to know the average customer, do they take 2 days or 3 days before they fund like their account and use the product, or does it take forever, right? For a previous product that I worked on, Quick Sell, one of the most important things that customers would do was to upload their inventory because it is a retail sales management software. If I don't have inventory, that's items in the software, there's no way I'm going to sell with it, right? So our most important action was to get people to just really add a product, add an item, because that way they can then sell. So you need to ensure that first, the user interface is seamless. Secondly, people know what to do when they want to do it, right? And if you go from your data and you see that it takes maybe 3, 4, 5 days for people to take the action, then you can then maybe work with your support team to understand what the challenge could be. Is it knowledge? Is it design? Is it that they don't know how to do it? And then you can maybe use softwares to just help the process, right? So one thing to check is time to activation or time to customer receiving value for the product. I think I mentioned the number of users that you're acquiring, the revenue that you're generating, the cost that you're using to acquire those customers, your daily active users, because that would also give you an idea on the customer that's likely to churn, right? So if you have a customer that was active every day for like the first 5 days, and they may be active every other day for the next 5 days, if you can like look at the pattern, you will know when the customer is likely to stop using your product, right? And if you can anticipate it, you can then prevent it by maybe giving them an offer, ensuring that they get enough value from the product and that they know the other things that maybe they can do with the product to keep them, right? So daily active users important, monthly active users important as well. I think that covers like the major things that you can measure, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very great answer. Thank you. For a product marketer who wants to be more data informed, in your opinion, what are the common challenges they might run into, and maybe some ways to overcome the challenges?
I think like maybe one of the major ones is the data privacy issues. So because there's been like a lot of abuse of data, people are really scared about what companies do with their data. There's like a lot of laws to really guide and protect the usage of customer data. So that might be a challenge depending on the country that you're working from. But a way to mitigate that challenge is to first inform the customers about what you're going to do with their data, right? So you may have to depend on primary data. That's data that you maybe got from direct interactions with the customers. This could be as a survey, as a one-on-one discussions, just maybe from your emails as well, or maybe at the point of sign-ups, you let them know that, okay, we're going to aggregate your emails and then use this as a way to communicate directly with you. So data privacy issues may be one of the biggest challenge, but a way to mitigate it is to clearly state what you're going to use those data for, right? Another one would be that there is so much data available, right? It could be overwhelming or even confusing. So the absence of maybe relevant data or the presence of so many irrelevant data might just cloud the quality of data that you get, right? And that's another reason you may have to maybe depend on your primary data. If you have CRM tools in your company, it may be really nice to depend on that to really understand exactly what the data is saying and how you can maybe understand like a customer journey. Beyond gathering data is really knowing what you're going to do with that data, right? We are marketers, we're not data scientists, right? So it may get difficult or scary when you see like this large number of data, but if you know exactly what you wanted to achieve at the point of collecting the data, it makes it easy for you to interpret it, right? So always have a goal in mind. Always know exactly what you want to achieve. Do you want to know, you want to improve, let's say, your onboarding process. You want to understand why people churn out of the process or why it takes long. So then you already have a goal in mind and you just work backwards. And that helps in your interpretation of the data. Those are like major data. Another challenge would be that you're not data literate, right? That, I mean, we're in marketing and not every one of us is really data centric, right? So the knowledge of data or even the knowledge of the tools to use to get this data may be a challenge, right? Example of simple tools you can start with: Google Analytics is free, it's very simple to use. There's a lot of materials out there on how to use it. So that could be like a good platform to start with. Excel is the best, or maybe the first or the simplest tool to use, but you can start with Excel. It doesn't really have to be dramatic, right? And then, of course, you can integrate Mixpanel. Mixpanel would do like the job for you. So just start with like simple tools, and then the more you use it, the more you see like avenues or tools that you can use to proceed.
I see. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your advice. So, we all know that product marketers often have very diverse and dynamic skill sets. So, in your opinion, what do you consider to be the most important skill for product marketers to be able to excel at product marketing?
I'll say the one, I think maybe the most important skill is collaborative skills. And that's because product marketing is a very collaborative role, right? So you're working with, depending on how structured your company is, you're working with like the brand marketing team, you're working with the product team, and you'd have like a product manager, depending on the products that you're responsible for. You're also working with the like, customer support team. Then you're working with the sales team if your company has a sales team, right? So there is really nothing that you would do in silos because the implementation of almost all of your strategies will be in collaboration with someone else, right? So you need to be a people person. I know we're always saying, oh, I'm a people person on our resume, but product marketing means that you literally have to be a people person. You have to be able to, you have to be able to work across board. You have to be that influential person that can communicate exactly what you want to achieve and what it will mean for the product. So communication skills is also important. So if you want to, let's say, improve the UX of your product, so you're collaborating with the design team, you're going to have to give them enough reason to maybe drop what they're working on to do like an iteration for you, right? So you have to be very influential, very good communication skills, very collaborative. I think writing skills is very important because you're responsible for messaging, positioning. A lot of sales and marketing materials will be written, and most times written by you, except you have like a copywriting team that you also have to supervise, right? So you're going to have to be very good at writing. And I think that would flog this a lot. Data, you're going to have to need, you're going to need data skills, right? So that's important. Another one would be maybe very good eye for design. And that's because we're in a data world. Social media designs are important. We recently had a scene in Nigeria during the Easter where a company pushed out a campaign and it just really caused a lot of drama and crisis, and they had to put up an apology. So it's very important that the products that you're responsible for, you understand what good design is, what good writing is, and that you can measure that with the relevance of what your campaign is, right? So you don't have to be a designer, but you just need to know what good design is, right? And then attention to details, very, very key. because you're writing stuff, you're designing stuff, you're planning stuff. You don't want to say the wrong thing at the right, like social media would make it'll blow it out, really. So very good attention to details will save you from a lot of explanations. So I think those are like the top skills. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. This is great. So we're getting to the end of our time here, but do you have any final thoughts on the data-driven product marketing, this topic that you would like to share with fellow product marketers?
Yeah, so I would say be data-driven. Ensure that if not all, most of the decisions that you're making are beyond your intuition, right? That they are backed up with real numbers on your consumer behavior, consumer preferences, product performance, market performance, right? So effort saves you money, saves you time, and makes you more like an asset to your company, right? Because everybody wants to make like the right decision. They want to ensure that they're in the right direction. The numbers don't lie, right? So ensure that all of your creativity is aligned with exactly what your numbers are.
Thank you for sharing. This is a very insightful conversation.
Thanks, Louise. Really nice to talk to you.
Thank you for tuning in to This is Product Marketing, brought to you by Product Marketing Hive, a product marketing community that gives back. Check out our website, productmarketinghive.com, to join our community, meet fellow product marketers, and access free resources, including training, playbooks, templates, and events. If you enjoyed our podcast, please subscribe and give a 5-star rating on the platform of your choice. See you next time.